We're ready for round number 3, the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour. And just like the big boys of the NASCAR Cup Series are going to stay in Florida, down at South Florida at Miami, we are at Miami as well, the Homestead-Miami Speedway. The 1.5-mile facility now ready to host virtually on iRacing, the McConey Setup Shop 150. Good evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are across the country on Live Sim Racing TV. I'm Wesley Outland from North Carolina. Joined alongside from California is Samuel Dyer. And in the production chair, as always, from Texas, in the heart of Texas, Charles Wooten. Samuel, Homestead-Miami, you think of one word, precision banking. The opportunity for 2- and 3-wide racing in multiple grooves is a premium here. We should see that here this afternoon.
Yeah, we're excited to see the progressive banking and how it's going to be affecting these drivers. And hearing a lot from the drivers, it is extremely tight into the corners and extremely loose off, which means it is a difficult course and a difficult setup for these drivers to be handling. So we're expecting a lot of drivers to stay high early on in these runs and then progressively able to find themselves moving further and further down to try to find some space. But we're still in Florida. We got done with, at the Super Speedway at Daytona, then the road course at Daytona, and I'm excited, Wesley. I mean, we get to finally see mile-and-a-half racing, and I'm looking at top of the board, and it's going to be Navarro top of the board, and then below him is going to be Matthew T. Lee, and Lee could be our first 2-time winner this season.
Matthew Lee, Garrett Maines, first 2 winners of the season. Let's take a look at the Race on Texas 411 information for today's event. As practice is still going on, there's a 1-hour practice session about to conclude. There will be 2-lap lone qualifying, and then we will go 100 laps for the Race on Texas 4. Take a look at the sawblade.com weather conditions here in South Miami virtually, and let's say nice day of 79 degrees, just about to hit 80. Partly cloudy skies, wind temperature 9 miles an hour, track temp at 94. It sounds just about right there in South Miami. Samuel, I wish I was there like a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, it'd be so nice to be there right now. It sounds like great weather during this nice winter times that we're dealing with. And, looking at the track temp, it has cooled down for a lot of these drivers. It has climbed up to almost triple digits at times, and it's been going down. So the drivers have gotten to work with a little bit of difference on how the track's going to feel. But I think really the overall is I'm concerned for these first 5 laps that these drivers have on these fresher tires on if they can even hold on. I'm watching drivers during practice, and they seem extremely loose and just want to snap on them after the midpoint of the corner if they're running the low line or even the middle groove.
So the stage is set for the McConey Setup Shop 150. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we're qualifying around Homestead-Miami Speedway on Live Sim Racing TV, now in 4K Ultra HD. This is the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour, rocking and rolling into round number 3 on this Sunday afternoon. Back here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, we're about to begin qualifying for the drivers of the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour in preparation for the 3rd round of the McConey Setup Shop 150. Sam Dyer, Wesley Outland, Charles Wooten, and by the way, we need SK Charles for qualifying, and the Arrow is back as well. But anyhow, nonetheless, we're ready for a good time here virtually on this Sunday. What will be, Sam, the final Sunday of February.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe we're almost 2 months or 2 months into the year already. I mean, it is just blazing on by. Excited to see what the rest of the year's going to be given to us, as we've already seen some great racing action so far.
Yeah, so hey, I'll tell you what, we had one awesome show last week for the road course. Garrett Maines just sheer dominated it. I mean, was no chance in the world for anybody trying to beat that man. The Outlaw eSports program for Elliott Sadler eSports, one of the NASCAR Coca-Cola competitors, and picked up the see what these drivers can do now for this race. Is in the Dale Earnhardt Senior Goodwrench throwback. Corey Cook, number 61, first one on the speedway. And hey, Sam, let's give your props to your brother Matt Dyer, finally winning on the S&B Cup Series finale the other night. How about that, brother? Were you cheering for him? Were you going to throw the TV at him? What were you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I was behind him cheering him on because I've seen him throw away so many races for so long that I'm just like, maybe he'll throw it away this time. I think I wasn't sure he had the race in hand until that white flag was waving, and then I was like, I think he's got it finally. But yeah, no, I was cheering for him. It was exciting in the household, but now we get to see this great racing out here. Corey Cook running low, which is interesting to see. I think a lot of drivers were expecting to run a little bit higher, and you're seeing that loose sensation by the 61 coming out of Ford.
Corey Cook, we'll see what goes down. Here he comes across the stripe. 33.151 seconds at the bar right now in the early going. Corey Cook, the Goodwrench colors. Lone qualifying. Here comes that 61 up out of turn 4. Down to the start-finish line. No other takers have came out on the track yet. Now Thompson has decided to bust through the gate. 34.573. Right now, the best lap so far for Torrey Thompson. There you see him now, the number 88 machine. Cook at the top of the board. Harrell is now second best. How about Duval, runner-up at Daytona in the opening race? Matt Lee, he's back. In right now, third on the clock, fourth, fifth. He's he's going down. Never mind. And there's Garrett Maines. Samuel, he was the winner last week at the road course, and he's hitting the wall out of turn 4 here at Homestead.
Yeah, Garrett Maines still has not officially clocked a time, so should be able to still run 2 more. He's going to have to reset. As now Andrew Navarro going to be on screen. And Navarro's going to get loose out of 4, and we're going to see a lot of that here today. And it's going to be one of the trickiest things early on in these races if they can hold on to the back end of these cars coming out of 2 and out of 4.
Watched him get fishtailed as he exited off that corner. There's Pete Pelini out of Sands, Michigan, the number 77 machine. Suffice to say, he's had pretty good runs the last couple of weeks. Last week, he got caught up in an accident. Correction, Sam. He got caught up in many accidents on the road course at Daytona.
Yeah, went off course, caught up in a couple of accidents, but was able to recover pretty well and finish in the middle of the pack, I believe. So this 77 machine has the durability to try to muscle their way to a better run, and coming across the line, going to be moving up to 8th after that running. So we'll see if there's any other movements that happen.
Keith Bradley, there he is from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. The animal is in the house. Car number 29. Down the back straightaway, Keith Bradley. We'll see what kind of times he'll turn here. Fire in the Lawrenceburg apartment. Call him the animal. He is the man that is behind the Nazra, Pulps, Poppers, Fishing Lures, Fidget Series. We'll return back to act for Nazra on Thursday night on LSRTV. Bradley, 33.45. Got to pick it up there, Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, the main issue is, Keith's trying to run what a normal line would be here on iRacing at Homestead, but running low actually seems to be hurting some of these drivers, as you're seeing that 29 just wants to push up so much in the center of the corner where you're losing that time. We'll see if Bradley's able to better that 33 point, and it will actually, moving up to 12th with a 33.375, but was not top of the board.
Gotta improve it for sure. To qualifying in the books. Quick break, coming back, starting lineup, and we go racing here at Homestead-Miami. Welcome back to the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Practice qualifying now in the books. Alexander Russell and the rest of the field now nestled on the pit lane. Let's give you your starting lineup. It's presented by ComServe Wireless, with 24 locations in 3 states to serve you, including the Commonwealth of Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. Alexander Russell, he's on the pole in the number 27 machine. His outside, Garrett Maines, winner last week, row number 1. Row 2 will find Aaron Smith the second in the 70 from South Carolina, and Matt Lee, the Daytona inaugural race winner. He'll start 4th, Sam in 04.
And then in row number 3 is where we're going to be seeing Drew Harrell, as well as we're going to be seeing Corey Cook. And then you drop back to row number 4 is where you find Derek Fulton, as well as you're going to be finding Rick Spencer-Walt.
Row number 5, Pete Polini, the 77 machine. That'll round out the top 10 alongside Navarre, Florida's number 22 of Kernan Church. He'll start 10th. Row number 6, she's in the house. Chantel Pottle in the number 5. Struggles at the road course last week in her debut. She's going to try to make her start here in 11th. And the animal, Keith Bradley from Indiana, to the outside, starting 12th.
Row number 7, you're going to have Will Duvall as well as Tori Thompson, and then he dropped back. These are the drivers that have not put down an actual time, so they're going to have to work their way through traffic. Andrew Navarro as well as Jason Maines.
And Cameron Rourke in the 28, Ben Lewis in the 14. At the back of the 28. Missions number 17 and 9 rows, 18 cars. The field is on course now, ready for their preliminary lap. The race distance, 150 laps, 1.5 miles here. The sun beaming down on Homestead-Miami Speedway virtually. Await the pace car to make his way back down to the front stretch. Pull in, duck onto pit lane. Drivers will get ready to go for it for round number 3 of what is the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour. By the way, if you'd like to know more about LSRTV, go to livesimracingtv.com. Also at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And CRN Sports at CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Here they come into turn number 3 and 4. We are ready for the start. Ready for the green flag to come out. 150 laps. The McConey setup shop is green here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We're ready to kick some asphalt. Here they come, roaring that stuff, that fourth turn, down below the flag stand shot. And ladies and gentlemen, you have a virtual race. 2 laps in, Sam here, and guess who's out in front? The Virginia native of Garrett Maines.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Garrett Maines coming into this race, one of the favorites coming in to win this. But, you know, Matthew Lee not too far behind, going to be 3/10 back, but still lingering close enough. Some of the drivers that are having early issues, Aaron Smith, the second, was having a great run, but got loose out of 4 off the first corner, after the first lap, excuse me, and dropped all the way back to 9th place, has now moved up to 8th.
And those are the 2 drivers that have won on the series so far. They've won Daytona. Big Matthew Lee days ago. And then Sunday afternoon, it was Garrett Maines winning the road course. Will somebody emerge and become a 3rd different winner? Or will we see the first repeat win of those 2 drivers? Meanwhile, there's a nice little battle trying to heat up. That's Russell for that position, and trying to run down Cook in front of him. Harrell behind him. Also going to have Spencer walk there as they go to 1.
Yeah, I mean, right now, looking at Alexander Russell, our pole sitter, not having the best run, and seeing that you got the quick speed for qualifying, but race pace, going with a little bit of a slower pace and slowing down, most likely focusing on saving those tires. So later on, you've got the grip to try to make some moves. That was what the drivers were really talking about. Tires is the main focus here at Miami.
You got to set your grip for race trim for sure. As right now, watch these drivers working their way around into turn number 1 and 2. Maines is still the leader. Matt Lee there in that number 2 position. There you see Russell's car right there up top against the wall. There is the machine of Matt Lee, the driver out of Clinton, Maine. He currently sits in the number 1 position as they work their way back out of turn number 4 to the start line. 6 in of 150 laps in the early going of the Coney setup shop 150. Sam Dyer, they're going back to turn 1.
Yeah, and this is around the time that the drivers are feeling a lot more comfortable about their cars. About 5 laps into a run, you've got more heat into the rubber, and you can start to see those grooves starting to be utilized a little bit more. Drivers are moving to the outside. Some are trying to go down to the second lane on the inside. So there's a lot of different places on track that you can try to move around and search for that speed.
Here comes Russell down to the inside. He's trying to get that run there on the 61 of Cook. He'll clear him on the bottom. Or will he? Side by side. Right, Cook with the advantage on the outside lane. And the way they go side by side back to 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is where that progressive baking that we were talking about, you've got that advantage coming out of the corner on the outside, carrying all of that speed and momentum that really starts to turn you into a rocket ship down the front stretch and the back stretch.
But then you watch Russell on the bottom as we continue to elaborate on precision banking. And you see Russ using the side for his advantage and trying to make it stick as they exit now out of turn 4. He's got the run on the bottom of the racetrack.
And it looks like right now Russell feeling committed and comfortable on the inside. He had the space to move up, deciding to stay in that middle groove. And this is where drivers primarily stay and like to focus on, is on the inside. If you feel like your car's getting a little bit loose, you start to drift up higher and try to hold on. And right now, Russell feeling good on the middle lane, but he's 2.6 seconds back from our leaders as our front 2 just pulled away, and they're nowhere close to anyone else, but caution in the back.
Caution out, trouble. Couple of cars spun around. And the animal from Lawrenceburg, Indiana is the yellow flag for the first time.
Looks like also
yellow
Will
flag
Duvall
coming out. Oh no. Oh no.
Ooh.
One thumb wonder. One thumb cowboy from West Virginia and Indiana's animal, Keith Bradley. Caution out first time. Here's a replay. This is what happened. Oh, it just got into the nose. And whoa, it could have been 3 cars in the wall. There's Duvall. Bradley getting into the back of one of those other cars, and watch it right here on board with Will Duvall. This should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the corner, it looked like, I mean, you saw Keith gain the great run in the 29. Then Chantel's going to move up and think that they've got space, but just runs over the 29. And That's just a difference of drivers trying to pick and choose where they feel comfortable letting off in the gas, and both those drivers, their let-off points were completely different.
And that was Chantel Battle making her second start. She was scheduled to run the race last week, road course, and backed out. The opener race at Daytona. Couple of pit stops. Corey on the pit lane, obviously. Eric Fulton, Andrew Navarro, Polini, Kernan Church, obviously Bradley and Duval. Jason Maines, also father of Garrett Maines, the leader, on the pit lane as well.
Yeah, about half the field deciding to come into the pits. We'll service with fuel. And then also we've got two drivers that are going for damage, which was Keith Bradley and Will Duvall, who were involved in that last incident, but everyone else just going for fuel on this pit stop. So everyone's still going to be an equal ground tire-wise, but fuel advantage now goes to everyone else, which is interesting because talking to some of the drivers, they were saying, hey, tires might be the thing that's more important than fuel at this course.
In 4K, old HD quality. Back with more from Homestead-Miami. LSRTV with Garrett Maines out in front.
Realtree Timber, developed to own the flyway, has taken the hunting world by storm.
Work like a champ.
Hunters are finding that the versatility of timber works no matter what game you chase.
Hot dog, look at this. Right there.
Whichever game you pursue, timber has you concealed.
There's timber in this hardwood bottom. Looks great. Unbelievable.
Realtree Timber. Own the outdoors.
12 of 150 on the board. Baconi set up shop 50. Hey, by the way, also Butt Kicker has joined the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour. Get ready to come back for the restart as Garrett Maines, the man that has, for the most part, jumped out the early lead since Russell got it from the pole. Top of the green, Maines lead Russell. Errol, Spencer Wall, top 5. Pace car gets ready to duck onto the pit lane. He'll make that left-hand turn. Here they come back inside the Geico restart zone. Ready inside Maines. Good jump on the pack. He pulls away from Lee and Russell. Asleep at the wheel, if you will. And it is Maines gone like a thief in the night on the green flag restart.
Yeah, Garrett Maines got a fabulous restart, but our top 3, they did not care. The rest of the field just caught sleeping, and they were not going to get any type of movement, and now they're going to be almost this full half a second back from 3rd to 4th place.
Man, it seemed like for a sec they were lagging back, and now they got to try to get that momentum to get back going again. Here they exit off the corner, off of turn 4. There's that 24, the Rowdy energy drink entry of car. Up the racetrack, couple of others with him, including Smith and Navarro. Work their way back off to the back straightaway. And honestly, as we look, palm trees swaying virtually in the background on the back stretch, Sam, this is still a long way to. I mean, we're only 15, coming up on 15 laps into this deal. A lot of racing remains.
Oh, yeah, a lot of racing. And, you know, for the drivers that were caught up in that early incident, they're kind of frustrated on being caught up in something so early on in this race. There are no fast repairs, so you have to keep on working and trying to get the repairs done on those cars. And right now, Will Duvall's still in pit road trying to get those repairs done. But for everyone else out here, they want to race hard. They want to get up front as quick as possible, but understanding it's going to take time.
Working back around the corner 4. Look at Smith in the middle, almost 3 wide for a second. Navarro sneaks, closes in, carries Harrell with him. Look at that 61 Earnhardt Senior throwback of Good Wrench. Here they come back into turn 1 and 2. Oh, we got one in the round. It's Cook. It's Cook. T-Bones. It's T-Bone. Oh, my goodness. He just got T-boned, and it wasn't a side order of steak either. Caution out. Look at this. And your replay. What a hit there, Sam.
Oh, man. I mean,
Was that Bradley that got into it?
Yeah, that was Bradley that T-boned the 61, and yeah, it looks like there was some contact, and then nowhere to go.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, those are the worst accidents.
Chantel Pottle was on the inside of Cook, and it looked like it was an aero deal virtually. It cut the air off on the 61 car. Cook's car goes around, and then Keith Bradley riding on board with him. Watch this. This is all in front of him. Take a listen.
Oh man, gosh!
Nowhere to go for the animal.
You can't even predict that. You're just stuck in that type of area because when you enter these corners, you kind of pick the lane you're going into, and you're kind of stuck there. And yeah, there was contact. I re-looked at it from above view, and there was contact between the 5 and the 61 there. I got Cook sideways and going around.
Chantel Pottle and Dyer. We were talking about that, with Cook right there to his outside. And you talk about precision banking. You talk about, cutting the runoff, losing, cutting their line, if you will. And I think that's honestly what happened. I don't think that per se intentionally meant to get in to, the 61 of Corey Cook. It just happened, but then Bradley nowhere to go. Cars on the pit lane in the back behind the top 10. Fulton, Church, Maines, Thompson. Obviously due back in from his first caution. Then you got Lee and Cook also. Well, let's look at another replay of this one more time from the blimp angle. And by the way, our coverage is presented by All-American Pools. Understanding we're going to go to a commercial instead. So I'm trying to show you from the blimp angle that Sam was reiterated on. We are under the yellow flag. Caution out! Now in 4K Ultra HD, third yellow, or the second caution of the race here at Homestead-Miami. We'll be back with more of the McConey Setup Shop 150 as we work lap 18. It is Matt Lee out in front.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
Well, thanks again to ETE Reman, McConey Setup Shop as well. CRN, Outlaw eSports Tour, 2 cautions, opening 30 laps. What do you think, Sam? Is that unusual?
I mean, the early cautions, it's not completely surprising. I was expecting it more to be because of cars just getting extremely loose, but that also the tight sensation these drivers are feeling on the entry, that's what we've been seeing cause these first 2 cautions. And sadly, Keith Bradley involved in both of them and will be our first driver to DNF from the race as his engine has blown.
So Keith Bradley out of the race, the animal. What a tough break for the man out of Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And honestly, to be out of his doing, it wasn't his fault. He was just out there racing, riding, and a victim of circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, he got bumped the first time, and then, yeah, a victim of just a car spinning in front of him and not enough time to slow down. So a rough day, and honestly, sometimes you do have these days of just luck is not on your side, and sometimes you need that luck if you're going to be running up front and making it to the end of the day.
So we will have the lights come off on the pace car. Matt Lee and Harold now be on the front row.
Yeah, we've got 3 cars that have not pitted yet. That's going to be Harold, Lee, and also Chantel of the 5. So our front 3, they've not pitted yet. So we'll see what those tires are like. The drivers that have actually taken tires, it's going to be the 88 and the 22, but they're back in 11th and 12th.
Ready to come back to the co-restart zone on the front straightaway. Matt Lee in the gas, pulls away. Back to it again, turn 1, Matt Lee, and look at Garrett Maines down to the inside. He's trying to go for a 3-for-1 special, if you will. Take it down 3 cars at one time. They come back down to the line. Back straightaway, look at this, almost 3 wide.
Garrett Maines just passed 5 cars in one corner. Like, it was nothing. This one machine, incredibly quick. And now we're seeing the battle here for 3rd place. But, man, Garrett Maines, he is on a mission to get back up front and leading this race.
Garrett Maines, a strong car for the young man out of Powell, Virginia, representing Elliott Sadler eSports. Back straightaway, Etsy. Matt Lee back out in front. Maines in 2nd, Harold 3rd. Bellini. Russell's flip-flopping in 5th. Look at Russell down to the inside to carry Bellini with him. Smith is there. Navarro to the bottom. Carry that momentum. Yes, we inside of the racetrack. You know, it's suffice to say, we're still too early in this race, Sam, to determine whether it's a better line on the top shelf or the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, and they're still on that first set of tires for most of these drivers, so they're still trying to figure out how much can I save as, oh boy, you got to be careful there. That's almost contact there between the 24 and the 2. But that's that loose sensation that we were seeing from the 2, just drifting him up, trying to save it, not trying to put too much wheel into the car, and now able to make the pass. You got to remember, Adrian Navarro has just been cutting his way through traffic, did not put a qualifying time down, had to start all the way back at the end of the line, and has now been marching his way up into the top 5.
I really believe Harold's got him too. His car looks really, really off the pace. There's Russell there at 27. There you see the white car, the Rowdy Energy number 24 of Harold's car. He is mired. He fell back. He was right up the pack. Now he's kind of lost with them. Russell works his way back, turns number 1 and 2. In 3rd spot now. Hornet's Nest behind him. Navarro. 5th. Harold, Bellini, Church, all in that battle. Behind Russell as they go back to 3.
Yeah, this Hornet's Nest you're talking about, there are some drivers running extremely low. That's getting nerve-wracking as Navarro still running in 4th. Going to be trying to make that charge moving forward. But some drivers are running so low, I'm getting concerned they're going to be running close to that white line and could be putting themselves in that potential getting extremely loose off the corner and could be finding themselves into an inside wall coming out of 4 if they aren't careful.
Back straightaway into 3. About to put just about 25 laps on the board here. Racing continues. Matt Lee, Garrett Maines, Alexander Russell, Navarro, Smith, you're 5. Then it's Kernan Church, Drew Harrell, Pete Bellini, Rick Spencer Wall, and Derek Fulton from Center, Ontario, Canada. Center, Ontario, Canada, A in the top 10. He's having fun on the asphalt today.
Always got to throw in an A there at some point.
A. And asphalt. He always says asphalt.
As we're watching that group, I mean, this group right here is probably the most dangerous group to be around because you got drivers that have been seeing Bellini in the 77. He's still running straight, but a couple of times in the past like 5 laps, I've seen that 77's back end just pop out under him, been able to save it. But now side by side with Fulton, this is you don't want to be side by side with a car that has been wicked loose so far.
No, you certainly don't. And we'll keep an eye and watch that here. There you see Fulton. There's one car bottom of the racetrack below the apron. Corey Cook back on pit lane again, caught up in that accident there. A T-bone with Bradley. Bradley out of the race. And all the while, running down Matthew Lee. There is Will Duvall. Ball way in the as well, 16.
And as we're looking at this group, a driver that I've been watching that got fresh tires, started in the back of the line during during this past restart, now up to 4th. That's going to be Church. And the 22 took fresh tires and has been showing how much fresh tires is important as he's been running down our top 3 and about to possibly make a charge, possibly for the lead here.
Straight away in the 3. All single file and all running the top shelf, if you will. Or back down on the inside, bottom of the racetrack. Russell, Church, right there. Look at this pack. 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there with each other. You could throw a blanket over them, actually. They go back to turn 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Navarro sizing up for the bridesmaid spot out of 2.
Trying to make that pass on the inside. Russell in 27 is going to try to power his way. But can he hold that second group? We've been seeing a lot of drivers on exit push their cars back up to that outside wall. He's able to hold on, but the momentum looks to be lost for the 27 and could be losing that 3rd place position.
Russell inside. Church is there. Outside lane. Gonna try to go 3 wide. Meeting the sandwich for a second. It's Matt Lee. Boy, it's getting antsy for second. Well, that goes on. Maines loves it and says, you guys gonna do that? I'm gonna pull away. But not for long. They reel him back in like bait on a hook. Church to the outside. Here comes Russell to the bottom. They try to go 3 wide again at the stripe. And they will. No, they won't. Russell backed off. He could have went 3 wide.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the corners, it's the fresher tires. You can see it in the center of the corner how the 22 can just carry more speed, the more grip, allowing the 22 to get this run. And now to the lead, it's Church.
Look at Church power, the number 1 spot. Kernan Church. Unexpected this one. Church showing his momentum in that 22 car. Maines falling back to 2nd. Sam, do you think maybe Matt... hey, man, I'll let you have it. It's still too early. I'm not going to push it.
Yeah, I think right now Maines has figured out, hey, the 22 has to have fresher tires, which he does, and just letting him power on by. I think right now Maines kind of committed to the inside second groove highest and just letting his car move wherever he wants, not feeling any pressure from anyone behind him. But since Church has those fresher tires, able to really make that charge forward. A driver that did get fresh tires but hasn't made a charge at all, which is shocking me, is the 88 of Torrey Thompson. Thought we would be seeing the 22 and the 88 work together to cut their way through the field, but it looks like the 88 might have some either just damage issues. Something's wrong with the 88, was not allowing him to cut through the field. But so far, I think Garrett Maines still feeling comfortable, especially with the fact that compared to everyone else in the field that has the same set of tires, they're still staying committed. But Russell coming with a head of steam, about to make this pass for second.
A lot of steam, a lot of momentum, a lot of power up the outside. As here he works his way out of 2. Back to the stripe. Off 4, here they come. Back straightaway. He'll have Kernan Church, the man, lead away. Such a surprise. Garrett Maines to 2nd. Alexander Russell now 3rd. Matt Lee has dropped to 4th, the pole car, along with Aaron Smith. .35 complete, working lap 36. But a run. Kernan Church has. There goes Garrett Maines up the racetrack. This allows Russell to get to the inside. This is for 2nd, for 3rd. lap cars in the way of the leaders as well as they go to 3. Sam.
Yeah, that's Corey Cook able to get the repairs done and getting back out on track and able to unlap themselves by 1 lap. So now 16 laps down, and not the day that the 61 wanted, but certainly just trying to clock as many laps as possible and hoping for more caution to come out, possibly get those waiver rounds to get back into this race. You're seeing that these drivers extremely close as this is the battle for the second place position, and Russell's got to feel confident, got the pole, and now is past Garrett Maines here as we've been running green, and really Maines showing has this early pace, but I think this is a good learning aspect early in this run of, okay, maybe I don't need to push my car as hard early on.
There you see Russell, a 27 machine, Maines reeling him in. So is Polini, or so is Smith and Lee. Bolton now up to 6th. That goes on. Russell works his way off 4. Back down the front straightaway. Trying to close in on the leader. They are. There's Church, bottom of the screen. That's the lead car. 2nd. There's 3rd. That's Russell and Maines. Up the racetrack goes Church. Church in trouble. New leader. Like taking candy from a baby and on Halloween or Valentine's Day. Sweetheart is Russell to P1 in 27.
Yeah, the main issue was coming up into the wall on that previous lap, coming out of 2, which bogged down Lewis, lost all the time, and then coming into 3 and 4, losing time even more, getting back into the wall. This 22 heavily damaged and now struggling to stay in 3rd place.
Something amiss on Church's car. After all that time, at least for 10 laps or more, being out in front, makes his own driver error up into the wall virtually, into the safer wall barrier, and now he has fell all the way back to 3rd as Russell and Maines go on a tag team sprint, Maverick and Goose style, and run down Church to pass him for the lead.
Well, it's not over yet. Church has now got back into a rhythm and now challenging back at Garrett Maines to the inside. Oh boy, Smith got extremely loose and now is losing time.
On board with Smith, and look, he rim-righted the wall and allows Matt Lee and Fulton to take advantage on the inside past the 70 car. He'll fall back outside top 5 and 6th.
And then also Polini going to be joining this group, a driver that has just dropped back as well. That's going to be the 2 of Navarro that has been having issues. Was running in 6th, but actually moved up to 4th place at one point. Now back to 8th, as now they're going to be 3 wide down the front stretch.
Russell, Church, Maines, Lee, Fulton, top 5. Smith, Polini, Navarro, Maines, Spencer Walt, your top 10. Errol, Thompson, the young lady Pottle, Cook, Duvall, top 15. Bradley, Lewis, and Rourke. The full field rundown as we are closing in. Sam Dyer on lap number 50 at Homestead.
Yeah, and the closer we get to lap 50 is the closer we're going to be seeing a lot more drivers thinking about pitting here, possibly for a green flag pit stop. For those that have taken fuel already, they're still looking for another about 20 laps or so before they think about pitting for their fuel. Tire-wise, though, I'm interested on how we're going to be seeing the drivers react, because I think around lap 55, that's when we're going to be seeing drivers thinking about short pitting if they want to get a slight advantage over everyone else around them.
I really think that's when they're going to go. An eye on him here, lap 44 of 150 as Church starting to close in now on Russell. We've had, what, 5 different leaders in the race so far today. We've had Russell lead, Church, Maines, Lee, and of course Navarro had a shot up there at one time.
Yeah, a lot of drivers giving their chances. We saw a couple of drivers staying out when there were cautions to try to get a chance to get some laps led and be up front, get that fresh air. Fresh air is so important here at Homestead. If you're using the draft and in the corners, really can rustle your feathers where you're not able to get the runs that you want into these corners because you're carrying too much speed that can cost you with tire wear moving forward.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Closing 50 laps. We're on lap 46 now. There goes Matt Lee down to the inside. Fulton 7 car up the racetrack. 6th and 7th position. In front of him. Across the stripe. There's Matt from Click. Picked up the opener race of the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour. Back at Daytona. A couple of Tuesdays ago. Round number 3. Vegas next Sunday.
I mean, it's a mile and a half racing.
Don't forget, in the area of Jason Maines. You know, Sam, Jason Maines also improved as a great esports driver. Garrett's father.
I mean, Garrett got the genes from someone, and it's looking like it might be from Jason. Is Jason able to make that pass and going to be moving up to 7th place? And I think Jason might be going with the strategy of save those tires for this later run. So we're seeing that 43 putting down some pretty good lap times. Last time by was one of the fastest cars actually on track. I believe. Looking at the fastest cars, was 4th fastest on track. So this 43 machine putting on some great lap times as the run goes later and later on.
Working to the corner on 103 grind remaining in Tony Setup Shop 1. Thanks to Jeff McConey for putting on board sponsoring this race for round 3. Ran Outlaw eSports Tour. Now in 4K Ultra HD on broadcast channel on YouTube. LSRTV on Instagram to follow us on social media. By the way, I was speaking of, by the way, tomorrow night it is the return of the Northwest Cup Series. Northwest Cup Series will be in action. It will be the duels. Qualifying dual races to set the stage for their opener race at Daytona next Monday night. That will begin at 11:30 Eastern Time tomorrow night on LSRTV and CRN Sports as well.
I'm excited to watch some Northwest racing. I've missed it. Those guys are incredible whenever they are on track, and it's so much fun to be able to watch those guys putting on a show. Gary Maines, though, he just lost 3 positions, went high, almost grazed the outside wall, had to lose all that time, and about to lose that position to his dad.
The duels will be twin B5 lappers. Qualifying races set the lineup for the race at Daytona. The opener of season number 2 of the Cars West Cup Series. And then on Wednesday night, not Thursday now on Wednesday night, same time, around 11:30 Eastern Time, will also be the Truck Series. They'll be getting ready for season of the trucks. We'll also be doing duels at Daytona. Twin qualifying races, the lineup. Northwest Racing Series for the Cups on Monday, the trucks on Wednesday. Justin Prince, myself, Greg Rentz on the broadcast call. That will be a good one. There is Garrett Maines right now sitting behind his father in 7th.
Also, Wesley, do want to inform pit stops have started as the 5 and the 04 coming out of pit road this time by. Excited to see when we'll be seeing our leaders decide to come down into pit road. Fuel-wise, they can go for another 15 laps, but tire-wise, most likely they'll go for another 5.
Chantel Pottle off the she came off the pit lane. Stays down below the apron of the racetrack now. She'll finally come back up to speed and get back up on the racers. Number 5, Chantel Pottle. Looks like she is coming back down to pit lane again, the 5.
Possibly an issue getting back into the throttle. Deciding to come back in, might have to get some repairs done of some sort. I don't know exactly what happened to the 5. I mean, maybe got onto the throttle a little bit too soon. That's what cost the 5 there. A very odd place to see a car get out of shapes.
Bottle on pit lane. Service being done to the 5 car. Might even be assessing a penalty.
Could be. Oh, that's right. It could have been because where Pottle had the issue. Could have been a penalty that was being served there.
15-second penalty enforced on Chantel Pottle by our iRacing officials that there is a penalty involved on the 5. Cycling a green flag stops underway. Russell now back out in front. Third time he's in the lead, and Vernon Church right behind him. Bellini has moved up third. There you see him in the 77. Trying to get around Church now for second spot. He'll be allowed a 4.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Bellini, what a run by this 77 machine. I was griping on the fact that he seemed so loose at the start of this race, and now he's finding himself up to second place as all of our main front runners, they burned off their tires, and now they're starting to lose positions to drivers that were running in the middle of the pack, just waiting to pounce for this moment.
And loving this opportunity to see these drivers that, as you say, per se, are in the back of the pack and middle of the pack, coming front and showing their strengths along with front runners' weaknesses. As Bellini now roars off turn 4. Coming back to the stripe. Church behind him. Back to turn 1 they go. Right there in the 7, also in that mix.
Derek Fulton, I think coming into this race before practice, I was kind of circling this 7 as my dark horse possibly could try to go for a win. But as the race is growing on, you've seen a lot of other contenders popping up for a chance to win this race. But the 7 certainly does have the pace to warrant great time, as you got the lap car of the 5 trying to charge their way past all of these drivers on the lead lap.
Bolton inside, Church there. Here comes Pottle. Chantel Pottle laps down, now hanging with the fast cars. Clearing the fast cars, if will, down the back straightaway, but she's still several laps down.
Yeah, and, you know, with Pottle doing that, it's actually bogged down both the 22 and the 7, and now going to be bringing in Jason Maines, going to be trying to move up to 3rd and will do so.
Russell, Bellini, Maines, Bolton, Church, top 5. Cars on the pit lane. Errol, Rowdy Energy 24.
Also, another driver that just got out of pit road and back on track, Garrett Maines, going to be back in 12th position at the moment. So now that one machine has gotten the service done, and we'll be trying to run down Lee, who was one of our first drivers that was running in the top 10 to come into the pits.
And by the way, we're also closing in on the halfway mark. Very soon. There's Russell, Bellini. Bottle the lap car on the outside, back to the inside, under Bellini's machine. Hey, by the way, Charles Wooten and myself will be on the call this upcoming Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 hours at Long Beach Road Course for the Sim Racing League. 6 hours at Long Beach. That should be a good show. Always enjoy working those guys. 6 hours at Daytona, Talladega. Now a road course thrown in the mix.
Yeah, I'm used to seeing drivers that with the endurance racing being at road courses, but when I was seeing LSRTV covering endurance racing at super speedway racing, it was a thrill to watch just because, you know, most NASCAR races are for 3 to 4 hours. Add another 2 hours, that is a lot of time the drivers have to worry about. And able to do endurance race at super speedway racing, very interesting to watch, but now get to go back to the classic of road course racing.
A fun one. Russell, Polini, they're 1 and 2. Fulton, along with Smith. Wow, did you see Russell tracking it out of 4 there for a minute?
Yeah, it's just going to get worse and worse with the tires getting bogged down like this. The more wear and tear, and you need to be a little bit more gentler and try not to get the back end so heated up. So, I mean, you got to let off a little bit more, let the car coast a little bit more through the corners, try to save those tires as Russell continues to move along. But Polini looking good, trying to get a little bit lower, trying to get more speed, but that's costing the 77, pushing him up a little bit higher than the 27.
Back around with Russell. The 1 and 2. You see it. 7. Still the man out in front. They're come off the back straightaway now. Polini. What a good run. Stands Michigan. Polini has right in the number 77 car. Also, Sam doing really, really good. Staying out of trouble. Could be there at the end.
Certainly could, and with the fact that we've been seeing the 27 and the 77 stay out a little bit longer, they might lose time to some of these drivers that are pitting already, but they're going to have the much pressure. Oh, no! Contact! Garrett Maines in the 27 right in front of Polini.
Wow. No caution, though. No caution.
Oh,
boy,
no.
That could have been disastrous for a lot of the front runners.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's hurting Russell too much right now because of the fact that they're just running so slow with the older tires. But the question of how long will Russell stay in the pits? Will he get that optional repair?
One of those top contenders, as well as you mentioned, now having problems. But to save those drivers made that were the front runners. Russell, Polini, there you see him right there. 5. We're coming up on halfway, by the way. Coming up very soon. Lap 75. McConey set up shop 150. Here for round number 3. Aaron Outlaw eSports Tour. Wesley Outland, Sam Meyer, Charles Wooten in production. Are rocking and rolling here this Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday night, wherever you are. It's the virtual iRacing world.
Wesley, looking at the chart, we've got our top 6 still waiting when they're going to be coming into the pits. They've been out there for a long time. Most of the field is already pitted, so the question of when will they pit, most likely here in the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, the fact of the matter is they're going to have to pit. No ways around it, because obviously they're losing ground with the rest of the pack, but they're getting slower. That's allowing these cars in the back to close them down. So eventually, you are going to have to pit. These cars in the front are going to have to take advantage and go to these pit stops, unless they could get a caution flag. And then that keeps them in a nice sequence, if you will.
Yeah,
Doesn't look that way right now.
The car I'm kind of using as my control car, as oh no, the 27 into the outside wall.
Oh wow,
a lapse
Russell
of judgment. Wow, that is
cow.
You're on the front stretch. You don't expect to see a car going to the outside wall. That was a lapse of judgment of not being aware of where you are. And yikes, that once again already had contact with Garrett Maines and now having contact with the wall. Our pole setter Russell, this is not the way that he wants this race to go as we're inching closer and closer to the midway point.
Yeah, closing in on halfway. Oh, well, Russell bounced off the wall. My goodness, wow. High above, turn one. Homestead from the camera view. Watching them work their way. Closing in on halfway. Russell, after his little stake, still hanging in there. Right with Polini. Lap cars, all in the pack. Off the corner. 3 to halfway. Pete Polini now the leader out in that 77 car.
But like I was saying, with the control car, Church is my control car. The last time we had a caution, Church came in, took fuel and tires. So we'll be the car that we will keep our eye on how far can this 22 go with the extent that we've been seeing, because everyone else, they've been still running on the same set of tires for those that have not pitted yet since the green. And I am very impressed with the fact they are still running out here. But they have to come in here shortly. I mean, they've been just burning down these tires, and it's hurting them on the longer run unless they feel like they could split this race in half and make it the rest of the way, which I don't know if that's possible.
Halfway, coming up. Polini setting the bar, leading the way. Extended, kicking the asphalt here for the Outlaw eSports Tour at Homestead-Miami. Just after halfway, the 7th lead change of this event. And now Jason Maine up in front in that red 23 there, Sam Dyer.
Yeah, I mean, Jason has just been slowly and methodically passing every car in front of him and now finds himself in the lead. I mean, it has been a great run so far for the 43, a machine that qualified back in 16th place, didn't put a lap time down, and has just been making his way, not trying to push the car too hard, letting everyone else do the pushing and wasting their tires and their grip, which has now put the 43 in the lead and on the point.
So now Jason Maines is your leader. But now Harold is second, Blaney third. Cars are on the pit lane again. Including Thompson. Gotta wonder when we're gonna start seeing another cycle of green flag pit stops taking sequence.
I think we're seeing it now. Polini as well as Smith both just came into the pit road now, and now we got our final drivers that have to come to the pits. That's our front two of Russell and Maines.
You want to talk about strategy? Pendulum affected everybody because some guys pitted 30 laps ago, some pitted 10 laps ago, are pitting now. Who's going to get that right setup? Who's going to hit their marks to make it here? It's right now, Jason Maines leads. There's Pete Polini along with Smith off of pit lane, off pit road.
I mean, right now, Jason Maines, if he can push it for another possibly 10 more laps, I don't know how he would do that, but I mean, if he really bogs down, slows down his pace, maybe. He's going to try to possibly cut down on a pit stop, as Matthew T. Lee, running in third place, is 10.3 seconds back from our leader, and is already was one of the first drivers to even come down into pit road. So this 04 has already almost run down the leader, who is not pitted yet, and this is putting the 43 in a precarious spot. But everyone still needs to pit at least one more time, and if not for a front two times.
Just after halfway. Getting ready for the second half. Coney set up shop 150. We're going to go side by side. Not miss a lap of the action while we go to break. Thanks some bills extended. And in addition to that, take a look at your saw blade top 5. Get ready. Approach lap 100. Jason Maines, the new Maines, out in front, along with Russell, Lee, Harris. Back here at Homestead, and we are approaching 100 laps, just after halfway, lap 85. Wesley Outlet here with you along Sam Dyer, Garrett Maines, dad Jason Maines out in front. By the way, production is always done greatly by Charles Wooten. On behalf of Jeff Stabler, everybody at Rocket Media LLC, we hope you're enjoying our coverage this Sunday afternoon. There's Garrett Maines trying to run down Matt Lee, Sam, to get around, go to second. Father-son battle for the lead. We see it here at Homestead.
I don't know if we're going to be seeing it, as it looks like Jason Maines going to be having to come into pit road.
Yep, here he comes. Yeah.
Able to go 66 laps, almost 67. Which that is a great run.
Amazing run for Jason Maines. And now he'll come down to the pit lane. Make sure you don't have any mistakes. You got to hit your marks. Go to pit stall. Take on those 4 tires and fuel. Good slide into his stop. We'll go to work. So Matt Lee, the Daytona Way winner, back out in front. There's the orange and white car. It Maines back to second. By the way, we hinted on this, Sam, earlier. They are the first two winners of the season. Right now, two on the racetrack, back to third.
Yeah, and I think right now of those two drivers, and Garrett Maines might be the favorite to try to become our first two-time winner. Try to go back-to-back from the road course to the mile and a half. Garrett's been catching Lee here pretty quick, and it's mainly because right now Maines has over a 8-lap advantage of fresher tires in the 04, and that's something I've been just pounding into the ground at this point, of tires being so important here at Homestead. And Lee's done a great job, but gets out of shape out of 2, and now is going to be losing a ton of ground, it looks like, to Maines, and Maines able to close in by 3/10 just by that little slip up.
Certainly has. Keep an eye on that. Here they come. Matt Lee, along with Garrett Maines, they're 1 and 2. Bolton third, Spencer Walt. I gotta say, Samuel, I'm very happy or impressed with Spencer Walt's run. You know, first couple of races he had struggles, kind of mired in the back. For him, right? Pro.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer Walt as well as Navarro, they've been running around 8th and 9th since they came into pit road, and they have not gotten away from one another. They have been staying within a 10th this whole entire time since they've pitted, and they've been together for the past 25 laps, not really giving an inch. They've been staying like this side by side for most of this run, which is hurting both of them tires-wise. If anything, It would be hurting Navarro more because he has to get into the throttle so much sooner to really burn off those tires, while the car on the inside, they can let off a little bit more and understand that I don't need to push too hard off exit because I don't have that space. Spencer Walt able to clear for now, but expecting to see Navarro pressure back and try to make the pass once again.
It's the thing, as they the battle said, you know, you're losing ground on the pack, but you know, cars in front of them to pull away from that group of Walt and Navarro and Harold. Now you see him finally fan out single file. Matt Lee, what a performance for him now. Lee and Maines and Folk, they're 1, 2, and 3. Sam, they're going to have to pit. They're coming soon. They're going to have to pit.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the way that the last drivers and the way that they needed to come in and pit, most likely we're going to be seeing Lee pit here in the next 15 to 20 laps. That's the marker that we're expecting to see Lee go for, which would put him in the window to make it to the end of this race. Garrett Maines, he's looking like he can go for about another 30 laps or so, and then he'll have to come into the pits. So we know that everyone in this field still needs to pit at least one more time. The drivers that are really putting themselves in a maybe I'll make it type of a scenario would have to be Jason Maines or even Russell. That both those drivers stayed up pretty long, but I don't think they can stretch it out for 80 laps or so.
Yeah. We are approaching lap 1. There's the 24, Harold. There's Kenny. Those drivers right behind one another in 6th and 7th, single file. Smith behind him. You just saw him on the front nose of his number 70 car.
Expecting Pelini.
Anybody is seen and waiting a few laps to make a run to the front here, Sam.
I mean, Pelini right now looking good to try to make a charge here. Looking at some of our front runners, Derek Fulton looking good to try to make a pass on our leaders just because of the fact that he pitted later than our front two. But Garrett Maines has made the pass for the lead. And we're expecting to see Lee just continue to drop from the board. Was up front because of pitting early and having that major advantage, but only lasted for so long. It only lasted for about 8 laps or so. And I think if Lee can, not make as many slip-ups, getting out of sorts, I think Lee can make a really good charge here due to the fact that he's going to pit pretty late compared to everyone else. with about 30 laps, and then everyone else is going to be pitting sequencing after that. Lee has a chance strategy-wise to win this race if he continues with pitting early.
Yeah. And I'll tell you somebody else to keep an eye on as well, and that is Daddy Mains, Jason Mains. Everybody cycles in, and then you saw where Jason stretched it out to almost 70 laps on a green flag run. If he's able to play his cards right, he could possibly do the same thing again here. Not suffice to say using up the tires quicker than everyone else that pitted after now, but we'll see what happens here. Jason's really strong.
Yeah, and this is the part of the race where the experience of racing really kicks in, of understanding, yes, you've got the fresher tires than everyone else, but if you are trying to stretch this out to the end, you cannot be burning off your tires as fast as you really want to. You see that you're faster than everyone else, so sometimes you get giddy, get on the throttle a little bit quicker, push the car harder than you should be, and then that's going to hurt you later on to not allow you to try to really have a chance to stretch this car all the way to the end, as Jason Main able to make that pass for 8th place and soon to be making the pass for 7th.
Got a strong run, that 33 car. Very, very impressive car. Well, this has been a good one. 100 laps on the board. It's time by. Closing in on 50 laps remaining. Next time around, we'll be at the final 50 lap stretch of this event. And from one Mains, Father Mains, to his son, Garrett Mains, out in front. Garrett Mains, one of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola competitors on the series for Elliott Sadler eSports. Leading the way. As there goes Jason across the line. 50 laps to go in this event.
Matthew Lee into the pits, pitting way earlier than I was expecting.
Yes, sir. I wasn't expecting. I thought maybe another 10 or 15 laps before the pit stop, but he's coming down the pit lane.
Well, this is right at the window where you can make it. So Matthew Lee feeling comfortable. If I pit now, this should be a big enough gap that he could trying to make where he could possibly have the lead. If everyone else stretches it as far as they can go, this is going to be putting a massive lead for Lee. But he's got to make sure not to make any mistakes, and looks like he did not speed entering. We'll see if he speeds exiting or even trying to get back on the course.
But again, you don't want to make any of those mistakes. You want to be flawless. Mistakes made in the pits can get you on the track. Right now, down this stretch, down to the final 50 lap, under 50 to go. This is where you really do not want to have any mistakes, because it can cost you to the finish of the race, Sam.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you make any mistake on pit road, it could be costing you a ton of laps. I mean, we've already seen how a mistake on pit road has costed the 5 of Chantel Pottle, who was running in the top 10 before having the exiting off pit road mistake that cost the 5 to come back into pit road, now currently 4 laps down. And due to the fact that we've been green for most of this race, we've only had 2 cautions, and now you're seeing the fact of any simple mistakes, it's going to hurt you greatly. Another driver that was running well was the 22 of Church, back in 9th place, but has had contact with the wall a couple of times.
Right. And Garrett Mains in front still. There's Fulton. He's in second. Spencer Walt still so impressed with his run. He's currently what a job for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been able to get away from Navarro, which is, I think, was the biggest crutch that we were seeing from this 31 machine. Felt like that was what was hurting him and holding him back from trying to catch up or even stay in third. Able to do so. Garrett Maines, though, motioning that the one is coming into the pits this time.
We could be seeing the leader come down to the pit lane. And you could call this the money stop. Here he comes.
Gotta make sure you're not speeding.
Yes, sir. The number 2 onto the pit lane.
Fulton came in as well. Oh my goodness. Also going to be Walton following as well. All these drivers figuring out, hey, I don't want to give it any type of advantage. I know tires could be important moving forward, but the gap that you get from those fresher tires and short pitting is way more advantageous than just staying out there a little bit further.
Taking advantage of this pit stop, almost the entire cavalry coming in the front runners.
Now Andrew Navarro going to be leading the way here, and looking at drivers that are going to be trying to come into pit road here shortly. Andrew Navarro, one of those drivers, as well as the 24 of Drew Harrell, going to be one of those machines. Everyone else trying to push it a little bit further, probably for another 20 to 25 laps, and then try to short pit possibly, go for fuel, maybe only taking 2 tires. Different strategies to try to lessen your time on pit road so you can gain time on the drivers that are going to be on those fresher tires, trying to gain as much time as possible.
Under 100 laps to go, under 50 laps to go is when, hey man, we're closing in on this finish. For the most part, been fairly clean. We had 2 caution flags in the opening 30 laps, and since then, 20 laps. Since then, we've literally been in a long green flag run. Another cycle again of flag pit stops. This is money stop. We're certain that these drivers could probably go the rest of the way. Navarro out in front. Second again. Comes at 43.
With Matthew Lee short pitting the way that he did, he is now 13.5 seconds away from our leader of Navarro, who are expecting to pit. The driver that we're looking at is Jason Maines and Matthew Lee. The difference between those drivers, about 10 seconds is the difference between them. And I'm marking those 2 drivers because Jason Maines right on the edge. He's about 10 laps short from making it to the green. Making it to the checkers. So he's gonna most likely have to pit. And then we look at Lee, good to make it to the end from here.
Navarro and Maines are 1 and 2. Bellini, Smith, Russell, their top 5.
That's Harold that's going to be pitting there on screen. Going to get back out there shortly as going to get a decent pit time of 14.5 for the 24. But currently right now 1 lap down, waiting for our front runners to pit. As there's Andrew Navarro right now 2.3 seconds ahead of Jason Maines of second place. The drivers that are dicing it up, that's in third place, where Russell, Bellini, and Smith, they've been on top of one another. And now you can throw in Matthew Lee, who just pitted about 11 laps ago. He's on the lead lap, and he is right on the back bumper of our top 5.
Wow. So a strategy of all these drivers starting to come to play. Can trump, if you will, Navarro, Jason Maines, Russell, what a strong run for him. He's back there. There's Lee. There's Bellini. That's 4th and 5th. On honestly, I'll be honest here. 10 all have a shot to win this here now. Bam. They're all good cars.
Yeah.
We've been talking about them all long.
I mean, right now, my favorites to win this race has to be Matthew Lee and also Garrett Maines. Both those drivers, with the pace that they're putting down, they're going to be able to get to our leaders and pass them easily before we get to about 10 laps to go. The question is, can Garrett Maines, who pitted 7 laps ago, which was about 8 laps later than what the 04 did, does he have enough time to try to run down Lee? That's the question for Maines, because right now he's about 4 seconds back, and he's not gaining enough time, in my opinion, to try to catch up to Lee just yet.
See the ticker on the top of the screen. We're in countdown mode now. They set up shop 150, just under 40 laps to go. There is Matt Lee crossing the stripe, trying to run down Navarro and Jason Maines. Could we see another Maines step up the plate and be the winner? Jason Maines in the 43. His son Garrett won the road course at Daytona. Correction on that, Sam Dyer. He dominated at the road course at Daytona last Sunday afternoon. Nobody had a chance.
I think they had a chance in the first 2 laps, and then after that, it was nowhere close. No one had a chance after that. As Garrett Maines just, like you said, dominated. No one was close, and it's got to be concerned if there are any more road courses, if they can catch up to this one machine. But for here today, Jason Maines trying to just hope that the 04 of Lee doesn't catch him here, but it's not looking good.
No, it's not. Navarro looks strong. Matt Lee looks strong. Maines, even though he's leading, that ground, that margin of interval from the pack is closing in.
Oh boy, Wesley, I'm doing the calculations of Lee and Maines, when they're going to catch one another and when they're going to catch the leaders. It all might collide at one point here. Probably in the next about 15 laps, we're going to be seeing Jason Maines. If he hasn't pitted already, he's going to be seeing Lee and also his son right on his tailpipes.
That should be interesting. Under 30 to go. Coming up on it. The Maines. There's riding on board with Navarro. Off of 4. Or down the front straight. Oh, the sights and sounds vertically. Navarro, that's the man in second. He's trying to run down that car. Here goes Matt Lee to the inside. He came out of nowhere. Sam, Matt Lee to second. He wants to be in this gunfight and have some say in it.
It's like Navarro was just sitting still. That is the difference of 40 laps of fresher tires over what Navarro has. Matthew Lee just doing a great job so far. Up to second. Now he's 2.6 seconds back from our leader of Jason Maines. And Maines right now, that last lap ran 3/10 slower than what Lee is putting down. So still running decently quick. The issue is Garrett Maines, who's about 3.8 seconds back from our front 2. He's running about a full second faster than what the 43 is.
Matt Lee is coming.
Wesley, Garrett Maines is coming too. He's almost within a second of Lee.
Both of these drivers want to have some type of say in the outcome of this race. Remember, everyone else on about 24 to 30 lap tires. Garrett Maines has probably maybe 15 laps on those tires in the number 2 car there, Sam. Does that help him? That's the question.
Oh, it's helping him a lot. He's running still almost a second faster than what the 43 of our leader is running, and also running about 2 to 3 tenths faster than what Lee is. So they are almost equal between what our leader, second place, and third place. The difference between all those cars, they're about equal. Lap times, the advantage goes to Garrett Maines in third place, but it's within 2 seconds between our front 3, and it is closing in quickly as Andrew Navarro into the pits, and he tried his best to stay out there, but just will not be able to.
What a job these drivers have put on. We're under 30 laps to go.
Jason Means has been doing a great job of trying to stay out longer than everyone else. I don't think this strategy is going to win him the race, but a podium finish could be looming over, as Derek Fulton, who pitted on the same lap as Garrett Maines, has not been able to really follow the same speed as the one and has not been able to really close up. But here's the battle for second place. It's on, and it's soon to be a battle for first.
My question is this. Could we get a late race caution as well, Sam? Wow, that'll change everything.
It certainly would. All these drivers still have plenty of sets of tires in pit road to work with. They believe they still have 2 sets, 2 to 3 sets still in pit road to work with. So still plenty of tires if a caution comes out. But it would help Jason Maines a lot if a caution came out now, as our front 3, they're all within a half a second of one another.
Look at those cars right there. It is all come to this. Talk about strategy here at Homestead. Maines, Fulton, all there. And son and father, Hickey Boo, here kitty, here he comes.
Yeah, once Garrett gets the lead, I don't think he's ever going to relinquish it. He's going to take off, and I don't think Lee can hold on. The tire advantage goes to Garrett Maines, and he's been doing such a great job running down as he's now our leader, and he's going to take off like a rocket ship already, up to over a half a second lead as Lee just watches the one pull away.
Remember what you were talking about, the difference of tires and pit strategy. That's exactly what it looks like is happening here.
Coming up to 20 to go, and looking at the rest of the field, when they need to pit and when we've seen our front 2 pit, it's just there's no one else that can catch up to them. Everyone else in this field needs a caution to come out. Andrew Navarro right now hoping a caution doesn't come out, as he's running right now as the second car 1 lap down, about to be third as other drivers have come into the pits.
Under 25 laps to go here, 23 remaining. And again, what a performance. But Garrett Maines now in around Jason Maines. Jason Maines now falls back to third. Matt Lee has moved up to second. And here you go again. These drivers that are 1 and 2, the Daytona Super Speedway winner, Matt Lee, the Daytona Road Course winner, Garrett Maines, they're 1 and 2 on the racetrack.
They were the favorites coming in. I mean, there was no question about it that, Garrett Maines, 1.5 mile courses. I mean, we've seen him dominate at road courses, look always competitive at super speedways, and these 1.5 mile courses is where I really do think Garrett Maines just has his racing style just elevates to another level, and that's why we're seeing right now the one up front pulling away up to a 1.3 second gap lead. But Matthew Lee certainly tried and threw his hat in the strategy, as he was being one of the first cars to pit every time, and it was the best opportunity for him to really have a chance to win this race. It's just Garrett Maines was just so fast. There was no one else that really had a chance.
This has been a good one. 20 to go. Oh, we got one in the wall. Duval is the wall. 32. Scraping up against the safer wall barrier. He will not cause a caution, but he has caused a lot of damage on the passenger side of that 32, what has already been a dismal ride for the West Virginia driver.
Yeah, I was a victim of the first caution of the day and was never really able to recover. Has been in pit road multiple times for this 32 machine. Currently 22 laps down. Will Duvall hoping for a better week. I mean, last week wasn't that great either. Had confidence coming into this week. Was hoping for at least a decent ride, but that early lap 10 caution caught up this 32 machine, and now it's just been a ride and hope for the best, as he's seen a couple of drivers that have DNF'd officially out of this race. So up to 14th could have been a better day, but 14th isn't bad after being involved in a caution so early on.
Running down to the end of this thing here, it's safe to say race caution, the top two out in front, the cream of the crop for this deciding factor here at Homestead-Miami.
Yeah, looking at drivers and where they're standing right now, I think the best battle we're soon to see is for those drivers that have been staying out and trying to hold their positions. That's going to be Jason Maines as well as Alexander Russell. Both those drivers have been out there for 46 to 48 laps, and their goal, hope they can stretch it to the end. But I don't know if they can. They got to be clutching and trying to save fuel as any way, in every way possible. But for Jason Maines, he's hoping to have a top 3 run right now, and Derek Fulton closing in within a second and a half.
Impressed with this drive that they've had. This can we say this has been a fairly clean race as well. 2 cautions, as we mentioned. Other than that, these guys, after they had that T-bone hit with Keith Bradley, they kind of settled in and had themselves a good run. And it's been competitive amongst these drivers we've mentioned along the way, but after that caution, it's not been mired by caution flags. It's not been a caution flag fest, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that was something the drivers were really concerned about coming into this race, was how the setup was feeling with fresh tires. It was extremely tight, entering the corner and loose out of the corner. We saw early on of drivers just getting a little bit too giddy and making a lot of those mistakes, getting on the throttle a little bit too soon or coming into the corners a little bit too hot and costing themselves. And after that second caution, a lot of the drivers came over the radio and kept on saying, hey, we need to calm down. It's a long race. We don't need to be this aggressive. And after that, everyone has calmed down, and we've been green ever since.
$15 to go. Bringing this one to the house. A race it's been. It is down to these remaining laps. So looking for his second win in the series. In addition to that, Sam, 2 in a row.
Yeah. The question of can he carry that forward into next week? Will it be 3 in a row, possibly? Still a lot of close racing action as the battle for third soon to come in, but I think if anyone could go 3 in a row, Garrett Maines would be the guy. He's just always so good everywhere he's been at. And a driver trying to clinch another win here.
I'm going to say, we've seen this domination before by Garrett Maines.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what series he's in. He just seems to be so good and just carries it forward in almost every car that he's in. Like we've been stating, he's in the Coca-Cola series, trying to go for a championship, and that he's down here racing with these guys here in the Outlaw eSports Tour, and putting on a show and keeping these guys competitive. I mean, Matthew Lee almost had the strategy to get it done, wasn't able to, and now watching the one continue to pull away, but running great in second place is Matthew Lee. So I think this has got to be a confidence booster of, hey, I just need to hone in on this strategy a little bit more and maybe push it a little bit further, and maybe it could possibly have a little bit better of a gap. I don't think Lee was expecting Mains to pit as early as he did, and that him pitting at the perfect time for Mains was what enabled him to be our leader at the moment.
Coming up on 10 to go. What a race. What a performance by these drivers. As Mains looking to solidify another sweep. And there's the other driver that the opening race at the Super Speedway from Clinton, Maine, Matt Lee. But Mains and Lee right now, the catbird seats of 1 and 2. In to go, under 10 remaining here at Homestead-Miami. Down the stretch to come.
We got a couple of battles that are starting to heat up. Drivers trying to make their stance. As Jason Mains been in third for a while now. But Derek Fulton within 4/10 and soon to pounce on this third place position.
Well, the performance, these two drivers, but in the end, strategy prevails on pit road for Garrett Mains to hold on. Nobody's going to come to pit road, I don't believe, Sam. You think I'll go to the distance?
Yeah, I think everyone has kind of put their chips down and they're stuck where they're at. The only two drivers, actually 3 drivers I'm concerned about would be Jason Mains, Russell, and Polini. Polini's been out on track for 61 laps and still is chugging along in 8th place. But one of the drivers I'm concerned that might run out of fuel coming to the end of this thing.
To go, coming upon a go at the stripe. There's Russell. Had a pretty quiet day, if you will, sitting comfortably in the top 5 right now.
Had a little bit of a quiet day. Had some contact with Garrett Mains there in the middle part of this race, and also scrubbed with the wall, I believe, for a second, but been able to rebound even with that damage. It's 27, like you said, running in 5th place. Not too bad for a driver that's tried to cut down on a pit stop compared to the rest of the field. And just trying every strategy. I think that's really the key of this race was tires and strategy. Due to the fact that this race went green for so long, people could throw out short pitting, staying out as long as possible, and it really was the driver that did the middle part, tried not to short pit or stay out as long as possible, and that's what's given Garrett Mains this lead at the moment.
7 remaining for Garrett Mains. Interval now back almost 2 seconds or more. 5 seconds, actually, my apologies, I had a little blur there. 5 seconds on for Matt Lee. Matt Lee, only way he could possibly get a chance to come up in here and make a charge is if we get a late race caution. And I can bet you this, Garrett Mains does not want to see that. 6 to go here at Homestead. There's Matt Lee, the interval way back. Time running out for the 0-4 as he's at the stripe.
Yeah, Matt Lee, I think if anyone would feel the most comfortable with getting fresh tires in a little bit of a shootout would probably be Garrett Mains. We saw him, I believe, after the first caution on that next restart. He went and passed 6 cars on one go in one corner. So the one machine willing to take risks if it means that he can pass cars, and it's really succeeded so far. A driver, I'm surprised, hasn't passed for 3rd place yet. Derek Fulton having struggles getting by the 43 machine, even though Fulton's got the fresher tires, but they've kind of equaled out at this point.
4 to go. There you see Matt Lee, the rest of the field coming by.
The 5 just went off course, loose out of 4.
Oh my goodness.
And almost brought out a caution.
Cantel Pottle off pace in the 5 car. Will stay below the 8. No caution. 3 to go. Maine still out in front here at Homestead.
Luckily, the Pottle almost dumped it. She did dump it into the inside wall, but luckily it was off course, so not a yellow coming out, which Lee was probably hoping that caution would come out. Did not. And now
exactly
frustration piling up. I mean, the 5 car, not the day that she wanted to have. It just continues to get worse moving forward. Man, it's loving the way this race has been going on. Garrett Main's still up front.
Let's just say she's new to this series. She's gaining experience. Keep an eye on that 5 car, I believe, in the next couple of weeks to come. She gains more knowledge. As Maines, there he is. His own world. Moving by Duval. Lap car. Down the front straightaway. Here he comes. The CRN, 1 to go. White flag in the air. Coming up, it's one more lap round for the driver. More details on the voice of LSRTV at wearecrn.com. Back straightaway, final time, Sam. It's all Maines in the world on his own, looking for 2 in a row.
Maine's just hoping no one's going to cause any cautions in front of him, or at least wrecks that he has to avoid, but it's looking clean coming out of 4.
Off of turn number 4, 2 in a row. And dominating here at Homestead in a late pit strategy for fuel and gamble. Garrett Maines for Elliott eSports wins the Maconi Setup Shop 150. Second spot, almost 7 seconds back. Matt Lee, the 0-4. And the rest of the field coming down to the line on this day. So many different frontrunners, but the strategy at the end paid off. And it is, again, Garrett Maines winning. And it's 2 in a row for the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour.
I mean, it wasn't as dominant as he did back last week at the Daytona Road Course, but certainly the pace and the speed was in this one machine and able to carry it forward. And honestly, strategy, pit stops, and all of the ways that you could possibly try to figure out how to win this race, it went to this too.
Celebration for Garrett Maines, again, a win. 2 in a row. We mentioned how good he is as an esports competitor. Just proves it one more time. Getting ready for post-race interviews and more here from Homestead. But right now, let's take a look at your sawblade.com unofficial results. We'll go, we had 18 cars, so we'll go Garrett Maines, the winner. Look at the interview. Almost 7 seconds to Matt Lee, second spot. Jason Maines, don't hold your head down, Daddy. Daddy Maines will finish in 3rd. Derek Fulton, good solid run for him in 4th. Also, Alexander Russell in 5th. Rick Spencer-Walt, a good run, decently in 6th. Navarro, Smith, Church, Polini, the first car lap down. He does finish in the top 10.
Yeah, and then you've also got Drew Harrell and Torrey Thompson, and then you've got Pottle in the 5, going to be in 13th place, 7 laps down. Will Duvall able to continue running, 23 laps down, and the rest of the field not able to finish out this race as just a lot of those early cautions piling up on them.
All said and done. What a performance. That driver there, man, what a show. So happy. So elated for the driver. He wins. Quick break. We come back. We'll talk to our top 3. Well, that's what we're efforting. Wrap things up here. Round number 3 here for the CRN Outlaw eSports Tour. LSR TV now in 4K Ultra HD quality. We'll holler at these drivers from Homestead-Miami in a moment. Welcome back. Miami, Homestead, checkered flag in the wind for the McConey Setup Shops 150 post-race wrap-up time now. LSRTV and the CRN Out eSports Tour, Wesley Outlaw Tire, Charles Boot Production. And we're going to go to Victory Lane in a moment. We'll holler at Garrett Maines. But first, let's talk to the third place man, Daddy Maines, Jason Maines in 43. Jason, good run for you, buddy. It was good to see you being competitive.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I literally jumped in. I came into Garrett's room and he said, yeah, if you jump in, you have 2 minutes. I was like, I've never run a lap here in this car. So I jumped in and just learned the whole beginning of the race to just learn the car. And then it turned out to be a strategy thing that I was saving so much that it really paid off. But they knew that and they short pitted and used tires to come back by me.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, it was a great run on your part. On that first half of this race, it looked like you were just slowly making your way past everyone. How was it trying to save your tires and making it seem easy passing everyone at the end of that first green flag run?
Well, when you don't know what wrong is, I mean, they had said all the cars super loose on exit and all this, so I just rode. And I saw that they were pushing harder. I was like a second off the pace. But that played out to my advantage because I learned how to save the tires the whole run. And when it came into the end, they backed up to me big time.
You know, and one of those times in races we see you struggle, and it seems like you have really improved in the last couple, in actually the most recent months in your racing strategy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of testing with those guys in Elliott Sadler eSports, so it teaches me a little bit of saving tires. And then the biggest thing for me, downfall, is pitting. So I gave up probably 2 seconds going on the pit road, but I looked at the risk versus the gain, and I know that you can gain there, but you can also kill your race, especially if it goes green flag.
And sponsors, go ahead and thank them.
I got to thank Elliott Sadler eSports, 101 CBD, Linux Industries, Bradley Mechanical. And special thanks out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, and give a shout out to my son's sponsors as well as Smithfield, Swag, OfferPad, and got to thank CompServe as well. So I appreciate you guys.
A good for Jason Maines, father son, won in the podium here at Homestead-Miami and round.
Thanks.
Outlaw eSports. Runner-up, the 0-4 from Clinton, Maine, the Daytona Super Speedway winner, Matt Lee. Matt, strategy, pits. You pit too early, pitted too late. What caused you to get second spot? But it's a good run for the 0-4, though.
Yeah, Garrett was just really strong. He really figured out how to beat me there. You know, he's really good saving his tires. I think I probably used it up a little too early at the beginning of the run, trying to keep distance between us. But, you know, really shot myself in the foot by not taking tires early where everyone else did, and I really backed up, lost the field quite a bit there on that first stint of the race before I pitted, and caused me having to pit early, and kind of made my bet at that point.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, it was a great run for you finishing out in second. But once you saw that Garrett pitted, what was going through your mind there on that last pit stop?
Yeah, I was really hoping Garrett was going to go at least another 10 laps or so I could get a little bigger gap. I kind of had a feeling he was going to run me down. He's just too fast, and when he pits that close to you, he's got fresher tires with not much of a gap. He's going to run you down.
Well, a good point stay, though, for you.
Oh, absolutely. We had a great run. I mean, second to Garrett. I mean, time and time again. So it is what it is. Garrett's one of the best on the sim. So, I mean, to even be in the ballpark of running with him at times is a pretty big task.
Your sponsors on that 0-4.
Yeah, I gotta thank GTR Simulators, all the guys over at CG Chassis, Phantom Racing. You guys for putting on the race, Derek for putting on the series. A lot of fun.
Matt Lee, runner-up at Homestead-Miami. The big lane in the winner, McConey Setup Shop is the driver of the number 2 for Elliott Sadler eSports, again from Powelton, Virginia. 2 in a row as well. After dominating last week at the Daytona Road Course, it's Garrett Maines. Garrett, congratulations, another win.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the start of this race definitely was iffy. I mean, we kind of made a strategy call not taking tires there. I just pit for fuel. to see if I could free the car up because it was plowing. I have not burned the right front up like that ever. I mean, it was so tight I almost blew a tire, and I still had like 30 laps of fuel left. So that was basically an emergency stop that you saw. I was about to plow the fence down every opportunity I got. Just thankfully there, probably about halfway, it clicked with me. I figured it out. One corner, I just put it in there the right way, and it was like 2 or 3 tenths faster, and that allowed me to click away at the lead that Matt had gotten on me, because I kind of figured they weren't going to be able to win on the one-stop strategy. Just the fall off is bad enough that fresh tires, from my experience, has been an advantage here. I think they would have won the race had they made 2 stops, but just, with everybody trying to save fuel there, I knew we had an opportunity, and me and Matt tried to take advantage of that, and it ended up working out for us.
Yeah, Gary, I mean, coming close to the end of this race, we almost had a yellow come out with the car having an issue. If a yellow did come out in those final 10 laps, what was your mindset going into those final 10 laps?
Well, I thought I was fine when it came to hot lap speed. I just was melting the right front. So about 10 laps is all I was going to have. I did see that, though, and I didn't want to see a caution because that burned me earlier this week in another, an NIS, in Cup cars. So definitely didn't want a repeat of that. I was happy to see it go green.
All right, buddy. Well, thank your sponsors. Another big win for Garrett Maines and Elliott Sports.
Yeah, I got to thank OfferPad, Smithfield, ComServe, Swag, Lennox, Bradley Mechanical, all the guys at Elliott Sadler Esports. Been putting in a ton of work this weekend to get the car ready for Vegas. So a big thank you to all of them, and thank you guys for broadcasting it today.
Garrett Maines, 2 in a row, wins the McConey Setup Shop 50. And speaking of Vegas, that's the next round 4 of the CRN Outlaw Esports Tour. That will be the opportunity to see if Garrett Maines can go for the hockey terminology, the hat trick, 3 wins in a row. That next Sunday, right here at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 Central on LSR. Sam and I are all working with you. Thoughts here at Homestead as we wrap her up.
Yeah, I mean, it was overall fuel and tire strategies that came to the end of this thing, and a great run by Garrett Maines to get this win. And honestly, it was a great call at the end. Short pit from where he could really push it as far as he could, but that little bit of a short pit, keeping the distance close, is what gave this to the win.
Thrills and spills for sure. It's all said and done. Garrett Maines picking up the win after only 2 caution flags in this event. And now we pack her up and go from the East Coast to the West Coast to Vegas virtually next Sunday afternoon. Thanks to Derek Fulton with the Outlaw Esports Tour. If you'd like to know more, go to Outlaw Esports on Facebook and join. Like and follow. Also at LSRTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. At CRN Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And again, we thank Sam Dyer joining me in the booth. And of course, as always, great production work by Mr. Charles Wooten in Texas. For everybody at Rocket Media, for Jeff Stabnow, I'm Wesley Outland. Thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next Sunday. And the next broadcast on LSRTV and 4K Ultra HD will be tomorrow night, 11:30 Eastern, the duels from Daytona with Season 2 of the Northwest Racing Cup Series. Until then, be good to one another, and thank you for watching.